Hi everyone, welcome to my channel and a very happy new year to all of you, especially if you're watching this on the day that it posts. I hope that you all had a wonderful New Year's Eve, whether you went out or you stayed home and cozy like I know a lot of you were based on your comments. But I just wanted to thank you so much for another fabulous year here on YouTube. I'm looking forward to a lot of the things we have coming up for 2023, including lots of fabulous subscription boxes and limited edition boxes like the one that I have to share with you today, which was sent to me for review from the Literary Book Club. But before we get into that, I just want to remind you that I still have my 12 Days of Christmas or 12 Days of Noel series that is going on through the 5th of January. And if you missed out on the Advent series, there's a playlist. You can watch that. And then the last 3 days, there's actually a link to a multiple choice quiz. And the top scorers on that quiz, should you choose to participate, will be entered to win a bundle of goodies from those Advent boxes and even the 12-day boxes, because I want to thank you so much for spending some of your very valuable time, especially during this very busy time of year, with me and my channel. So now back to Literary Book Club. I am an ambassador, so they do send me the quarterly boxes for review as well as the limited edition boxes, most of them. I also featured their Advent box, which I was able to get at a discount in my Advent series. So some of you have kind of been seeing a lot of Literary Book Club on the channel recently. She did several limited edition boxes, including a Christmas box that I already shared with you. And then she also did this mini box, which I thought was really fun for New Year's Eve, with another classic that has a very familiar author, but one that you might not be familiar with the story itself. And that is, let me find it, Charles Dickens' The Chimes, a goblin story of some bells that rang an old year out and a new year in. So we got this beautiful edition. It's like a nice thin hardcover, but I just thought that color blue was really, really pretty. So this box was $59.99, and it's not exactly the same as the regular quarterly subscription, which is usually $74.99 plus shipping, where we get a beautiful edition of a classic novel, and then there are gifts to go along with the reading experience. Some of them associated with actual pages, some of them to enjoy as you read, and then some, of course, to enjoy at the very end of your read. Now, if you are interested in that quarterly subscription, I do have a link and a code for you that I'll leave for you in the description box below. But basically, the code is mauinoel, and that will save you $5 on the subscription. It's not going to work necessarily on the limited edition boxes like this one. But let me just show you the gorgeous box that they usually come in. So this is the usual box that we get for the quarterly, and it was the same for this mini edition. In case you missed it, that Christmas box that I got was so great in a beautiful shade of red, so I'm going to hold on to it for saving my Christmas decorations. But this is what it looks like inside, and I actually have all the contents out in front of me just for ease, but there's this lovely little quote, of course, and I'm very much looking forward to getting to share with you the Persuasion box, which was the winter quarterly box, and just because that's a favorite story. I haven't read it for quite a while, but it'll be a good example of the actual quarterly box, because I know I've been focusing on so many of these limited edition boxes for quite a while. So this one was a little bit different. Like I said, we didn't necessarily have our little envelope with a note from Katie, who is the owner and curator of this box. We didn't necessarily have our print, which we usually get, because this is just a mini box, just something to enjoy on New Year's Eve. Now, I will admit that for me, just getting back into the style and the language of Charles Dickens, without it being a familiar story like A Christmas Carol, was a little bit tough. It was a little bit tough. I'm gonna tell you. So let me just read the back to you. It says, "The Chimes is an 1844 novella by Charles Dickens. First published in 1844, it represents the second of his famous Christmas books. After poor working-class man Trotty loses his faith in humanity, he is visited one New Year's Eve by a band of spirits who attempt to restore his hope and belief in the goodness of mankind." So kind of similar to A Christmas Carol, but he is visited more by the spirits that he thinks are embodied in the bells, the chimes that are up in this church. So they're not these sort of beautiful chimes. They're very ominous in a way. So it's told in 4 quarters as well, and it is right on the cusp of the new year. So that's why it's a good New Year's Eve box as or book, as well as a Christmas book. So it says Charles John Huffam Dickens, who lived from 1812 to 1870, was an English writer and social critic famous for having created some of the world's most well-known fictional characters. So I did not know about Trotty, whose name is actually Toby Veck, but he is known by Trotty because he tends to trot about, and he is definitely of the poor working class. He's a porter, and he has a daughter who brings him some tripe in the first quarter of the book, and his heart is warmed. He feels like the bells are always promising that there's another job around the corner, and he has this very positive outlook. And then he comes across some of the gentlemen of the town who are just all about putting the poor man down, and he starts to get down on humanity and the plight of the poor person and how it's never going to get better. So then, of course, we have the classic event of him. Is it a dream? Is he really visited by these ghosts, these spirits? He sees this alternative reality where he actually falls and dies on New Year's Eve, and his poor daughter doesn't marry the guy she wants to marry, and everything falls apart. And so he sees this alternative reality, but he comes back, he comes to, obviously, from his dream, and in the end he realizes that the positive outlook that he had was better, and he has his faith in humanity restored, as it suggests in the back. So it was good. There were definitely some sections where I was like, what is happening here? But you know, the overall story was great. I could see this being a great book to have as an audiobook, because I'm sure someone could really add to the character and add to the sort of style of speech, and we'd get the accents and everything. But I thought it was a good, perfect for a mini box from Literary Book Club. So she did give us our sort of cheat sheet. There's always like a product list essentially of all the items in the box. Usually it's on a smaller, like 5x7, but this time we got it on like a full sheet like this. So that's our New Year's Eve box. So of course we got our book, and then we got several different items. So there were actually 4, and none of them were associated with pages. None of them said like while you read or before you read or after you've read. So I'm just going to share them with all of you, and maybe I'll read like the last page or so of it, which is very hopeful. So let's see. Let's see. Okay. Had Trotty dreamed, or are his joys and sorrows and the actors in them but a dream? Himself a dream, the teller of this tale a dreamer, waking but now? If it be so, O listener, dear to him in all his visions, try to bear in mind the stern realities from which these shadows come, and in your sphere, none is too wide and none too limited for such an end. Endeavor to correct, improve, and soften them. So may the new year be a happy one to you, happy to many more whose happiness depends on you. So may each year be happier than the last, and not the meanest of our brethren or sisterhood debarred their rightful share in what our great Creator formed them to enjoy. So make everything right, because the new year is the opportunity to set everything right and be a better person, basically. So I kind of had that Midsummer Night's Dream kind of vibe there, like the actors in them but a dream, himself a dream, and the teller of this tale a dreamer, waking but now. So kind of has that dreamlike character. There was a spooky side of it too, like when it said a goblin story, I was like, uh-oh, this is like a Halloween story. But you know, there were ghosts and goblins, but all showing you that darker side so that you could realize the contrast and the positive side. So let's take a look at what we got. Here is one of the little bags. We got these cute stickers with like vintage looking champagne, etc., etc. So yes, indeed, this is very perfect, and a company that I love. It is from Seattle Chocolate. It is their Sip Sip Hooray Pink Bubbly Raspberry Chocolate Truffle Bar with candies that pop. So love Seattle Chocolate, and I love the ones that sort of snap, crackle, pop in your mouth. They are delicious. We got an entire bar of this. I love being in the SeaTac airport because they actually have a Seattle Chocolate there where you can pick and mix and match your candies, and I spent like way too much time there. It's a good thing to do during your layover, and they let you try one for free, which is great. But this is fun. I do like normally like pink champagne to me sounds like something that's going to be too sweet and I'm not going to like it, but I've had it in the small candy version and it's delicious, so I'm very happy about this. So lovely thing to enjoy as you read. And then, of course, this is something that I think she did mention was going to be included. It is, what does it say? M de Perle? Champagne. So we have this like vintage champagne flute, I believe, which I haven't opened up. I wanted to kind of save it. Ooh, I love that she used an elastic bow. So that's kind of nice. So I can always reuse that for easy gifting. So I'm not sure if that was just the sticker or if that's actually for this item that's inside, which has lots of shred in there. So hopefully everything is intact. So we get champagne flutes in a lot of you know, New Year's Eve boxes, but this one is really special. I love the vintage look of it. It's pink, but I'm okay with it. It is so pretty, you guys. I love this. So I don't know what that actually says. It says something in French, but it doesn't say the branding. It is in glass, and I'm trying to, it's just a little bit dusty from all of the shreds. So let me see if I can kind of clean the inside out really quickly, but it's beautiful. It's very hefty. It's not like quite carnival glass, but obviously has that really vintage style to it. This is like a goblet almost, and that is going to fit like, that's like 2 champagne flutes worth. You can also put like flowers in there as well. It's got this really pretty like foot to it, and it's just got this pale pink tinge to it. That's really pretty. That's a really cool piece. I wish we had gotten 2 because you guys know I love my drinkware, my glassware in sets of 2 because yes, this would be very special to have at home. It goes with our pink bubbly sip sip hooray because it's pink, but it would have been nice to get this, to get 2 of these, or to have that be an add-on where you could get 2 so you had a full set. All right, we have 2 more gifts. There's another that has a little champagne looking sticker that says Happy New Year. I do love that. So I'm very confusing, you guys, because I do like really clean, contemporary, modern designs, especially when it comes to decorating my home, but I also really love vintage stuff. So I actually collect a lot of vintage European posters, specifically by this one French artist, Villemot. So I feel like this kind of has that vibe to it, where I would want to have that sort of turn of the century style in some of the areas of my home. These kinds of posters. So we got these fun little cubes. They are in raspberry. So again, it's kind of got a pink theme going. Luxe Mini, they are champagne cubes. So they're very cute. I think I got some of these in a Trove box once upon a time, RIP. But you just add these little sugar cubes to your champagne and they add a little bit of flavor. So it almost creates like a mimosa effect. So I love that it is in raspberry to give it that little bit of a berry flavor. So that is super fun. It says place cube in flute first and then pour the bubbles over the cube. So it makes sense. It says, or drop the cube into the bubbles for a show. Okay, so it does say that you should pair it with, oh, it says that you could put it in champagne, yes, sparkling, or it also says that you could put it in tea or even vodka. All right, that's fun. It says wine, sparkling wine, rosé, or water. You could even put it in water if you want to have a non-adult version. Well, it's not like a child version. A non-alcoholic version you could definitely enjoy. So she's really set us up for everything. And then finally, we have one last gift that came in this little bag. So let's open this up for our mini. Oh, I missed the little sticker. There's another pink champagne sticker. So she did a great job with that. I would have loved to have gotten some of these stickers because they are all adorable, although it's too late now. I'd have to save them for next year. We got a candle. So it's New Year, New Books from the Literary Book Club. So she must have done a collab with a candle company. I think it is, yeah, 406 Soap and Candle Company. I wanted to say 405. It's 406. She uses them a lot for her boxes. That's so great. So for New Year's Eve, you could have lit your candle, put your sugar cube, your flavor cube into your drink of choice. I love that you could do with vodka. Break off a piece of chocolate and dive into the story of Toby Veck and the Chimes, or Trotty and the Chimes. So, and it does have a happy ending, even though I got a little bit lost in it sometimes. I'm sure that, you know, having champagne would have just helped me like move right along. Ooh, that smells good. I don't know what this actual scent is. So it just says scented candle. It says it has a burn time of 20 to 30 hours. That's impressive. But it doesn't actually say what New Year, New Books smells like. It does not smell like new books, or old books for that matter. It smells a little sweet. Maybe it's champagne, but with a little bit of a berry scent to it, like strawberries and cream, something like that. I'm gonna say that. So let's just go over everything that we got in our lovely New Year's Eve box from the Literary Book Club. This is considered one of their mini limited editions. We got this beautiful edition of the Chimes, which was a Charles Dickens Christmas story that I had never read. It's very specifically a New Year's Eve story though, so it was perfect for this opportunity. We got a nice custom-made candle, New Year, New Books from the Literary Book Club. We got this beautiful vintage champagne flute. It is very hefty. You don't have to worry about knocking this over, and honestly, I'm not going to try it, but even if I knocked it over, I'm pretty sure that this glass would survive. It is nice and hefty. To go into that champagne flute with your water, wine, or vodka, or even tea they suggested, we have these little raspberry cubes, Lux Mini. And then finally, even though that's what we started with, our dessert is our pink bubbly Seattle chocolate bar with little sparkles in it to enjoy, little effervescence in there. I hope you all enjoyed this unboxing. I hope that you are enjoying the first day of 2023, and I hope to see you all very, very soon in my next unboxing. If you have never done this before, be on the lookout for some secret passwords, you guys, because we are doing it again, looking for secret passwords throughout the month, so you get entered to win a mystery box from yours truly. Not in this video, but coming up very, very soon.